Para pam. Hello, 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 hello. 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 Good evening, good afternoon. And welcome to another stream of Plane Shift, where we build our game. Because why not? So tonight we have to solve a problem, which is the problem of the ranged attacks not actually swapping properly between ranged and melee. I don't know exactly why. Now, in the documentation, we actually have this thing, which is called delta in the reaction script, which is actually saying that if delta equal to 0, then the behavior is automatically executed. But this is not what I see. This is not what I see. So, or did I do some changes? Or I did some changes that messed it up. But basically, I don't see that. I don't see that happening, right? I don't see that happening. There is also a delta -1, by the way. Please give it a chase after an enemy run away with his reactor. It does specify that 0, especially when it makes the enemy behavior of the ISIS no matter what. When the reaction are coded as 0 delta, NPC are really acting like state machine again. So he's saying this, but actually, I mean, it doesn't work that way. I don't know why. So let's try to understand why. Let's try to understand why. So that code is inside reaction, right? And reactions are under NPC client, right? Yes. So, yes. So let me see 1 second when we do the loading. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Change the music. Done. Desire type. Desire guaranteed. Yeah, exactly. So this one is the one. But anyway, let's see. If there is not, if the delta is not empty, okay. So if delta is specified, we take the delta and we put it to desired value. Desired guarantee, by the way, is 3. But anyway. So if there is a delta... So you see that it's not like that. It's not like that. So if there is a delta, even if the delta is 0, right, it's going to desire none. What the... This is very weird. So the only way that it remains desire guaranteed is if delta is actually not specified. So it's not true that the delta should be 0. The delta should be not specified, but I find it a bit weird though, because I don't think I ever changed this code. I think this code is very old, so I can go and check the old code, but I think that pretty much, I think it will be identical. I'm not expecting that I did any changes, any recent changes to that.
Let's get to work.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get to work, boys. Let's do some stuff. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, exactly. It's identical. It's exactly the same thing. So if delta is specified, right? If delta is specified, it will pick it up. So okay, but this is good. So it means that I can but well, that's very nice, because it means that in our NPC types, right, I can go here, I can remove, instead of having delta 0, we can just remove delta completely. We remove delta completely. Inactive only. Why we have this inactive only? Inactive only influence inactive behaviors. Okay, meaning that if he's already active, he's not going to activate it again, right? Okay, I think it makes sense. So I think this one we can live with that. We can live with that. Okay, so let's try it now that we have no delta. No delta value, my boys. No delta value for you. Today's Monday, yeah? Monday's a tough day, boys. But we are here anyway. Even if it's Monday. Even if it's Monday, I could be, you know, watching a movie on my couch and eating popcorns. No, I'm here to solve problems in this freaking game. You know? Let's do it! Let's do it. I would like to animate some clothes on the screen. Like I press a button and there are some tiger claws or a tiger bite. I think would be very nice. How can I do that, boys?
Just do it!
Just do it! Just do it! Exactly, don't think about it, you know? Don't think too much, just do it. Just freaking do it. Freaking do it. Will that guy see me? Doesn't see me, huh? He doesn't see me because I was behind him. Very interesting. He's shooting me ice shard, which maybe is a bit too much, but... Okay, if I go close now... Okay, he attacks me normally. And if I go far again... Please, shoot at me. Shoot at me now! Maybe the second perception... Maybe it's the fact that the second perception is not triggering. Let me see if I go away and I go back in. Hello? This guy kind of sleeping, huh? Hello? Hello? I mean, it takes him really a lot. I don't understand why it's not instant, right? That is what I don't understand. That is what we need to understand, because... Yeah, you see, it didn't switch. It didn't switch. It's not switching. It's not freaking switching. It's not switching. It's not switching back to ranged attacks. I don't understand why. Now it did. And it does that because it was gonna kill me. But it's doing that because the melee is going to go down, right? So if I go here, it's starting to do melee, right? And melee becomes the first... and melee becomes the first need. Unfortunately, I'm dead. But it seems that this freaking Delta, boys, is not working as expected. Because, okay, now... I mean, now... we don't have the Delta specified. And so this load will actually have desired guarantee, I assume, right? I assume. I assume that it will. So let me understand the desired guarantee, right? Guaranteed need for behavior, right? So in theory we should have seen this in the log. And bro, guaranteed means guaranteed. So it should be happening 100%. Guaranteed need behavior fight melee. Okay. Do we have the same for the other one? No, we only have it for this. Oh wow. It only happened once, by the way. It only happened once in this whole thing? Switching from range to melee, right? And yeah, I didn't debug all the... It was not full debug. But here he was attacking me. And here is never switching. It's freaking never switching. It's never switching. This guy's never switching. Okay, this is another guy. There's another guy, but it's the same. Are we debugging? No, the problem is that this guy now is another guy. No, we need to find the previous guy. We need to find the previous guy. No. Maybe. Was it this guy? The bug in PC, let's say 15. 15 is super verbose, but it's okay. I want to see when I switch, right, from... I mean, here it seems to switch... No, it doesn't. It doesn't switch. It doesn't switch. But the question is, did he get the proper perception? Because that's the point. Because maybe he didn't. Because the switch happens only if we get the proper perception, right? And until that happens, so there should be a player nearby or something like that. Player nearby. Reaction player nearby. Reacting to perception. Name player nearby. Found no added entity. Blah blah blah. So he is reacting to player nearby, but the problem is that... Are we actually getting... No, you see that this is not triggered enough. This is not triggered enough. No, I think what is... You know what is happening? Hello, Fannar. Mr. Bug looking creature, what do you mean? The bug creature didn't, yeah, my career died. Yeah. So... Yeah, you see, I did a change on the 16th of January 23 where I fixed player nearby not to trigger too often, right? And now this thing is backfiring on me because I didn't want that to trigger continuously because otherwise they were getting... They were trying to... Yeah, exactly. And now it's backfiring. January 23. January 23. Interesting stuff. Let me see in the log. January 23. January 23. Come on. January 23. Was the 16 or what? January what? 16th of January? Revision? What is this? Ah, fuck. Was before this time. No. I don't have it. No. Fuck, it's actually starting February. Shit. I don't have this diff. Unfortunately, I don't have this diff. Okay, anyway. I don't have this diff. That's pretty bad. Nearby is not here. The question is, what did I change, right? What did I change? You know, I don't have it because I deleted the history of that stuff. I know it's annoying, but what did I change? What did I change? Maybe I changed something inside of this. Perception. Did I modify perception as well or no? Reaction. Because should react, right? Is under perception. I didn't change perception, so in theory it's not here. But I remember I did the change. The problem is that it was more than a year ago. So it's not very easy to remember what was the actual change, but NPC manager, NPC brain, NPC operations. Maybe inside NPC operations, but NPC operation is fairly big file, so it's a very big file. So finding stuff inside of this is not that simple. Because here we have a million operations. Perception operation. Perception operation. Run. Maybe is here. If condition is empty, check condition. Operation failed. Check condition. Check condition. Fuck, I don't remember what I changed. I don't remember what I changed. Let me go NPC brain. NPC brain. NPC brain. Last perception. Last perception. Maybe it's this one that is telling us. No, maybe it's this guy. Last perception. Last perception. No, I guess it's not this. Because the proxy, okay. Because the okay, let's start from the tick. I think we can find it. It's just a matter of following the logic. But in the tick, right? Oh, it's not here. Ay. It's not here. I was thinking it was here. Okay, maybe it's in the advance. Brain advance. Hey, brain advance is just doing behavior advance. But behavior advance, no, but there must be a perception getting thrown. There should be a perception when we. It's coming through the senses for sure. I still find it a bit annoying that is not, you know, synchronizing. But anyway. It's not synchronizing the left panel with always select open element, right? So this should in theory, but it seems it's not working all the time. I don't know why. I think it's called, okay, so first of all we need to understand how it's called. The perception I think is called faction perception. I think it's called faction perception, right? Now we need to understand who is triggering that. Come on. Faction perception, faction perception. Ah, here it is. We found it. We found it, boys. Easier. 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 It's exactly here. Where are we here? We are inside under perception playing range. Okay. Under perception playing range. Exactly. 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 So this range perception is the one that we should have in the log, right? Range perception, exactly. Exactly. So it's this, but here I did a change, right? I did a change and I said, yeah, based on the distance, we determine which one is the perception. You see this? Wait a certain amount of time before triggering the same perception again. But you know what is the mistake of this? The mistake, I mean, this is a good idea. I like the change that I did. But the problem is that I'm not checking if it's the same perception or not. I'm not checking that. Because this get side perception next time is only checking if I percepted or not. But it's not exactly. Exactly. That is exactly why it's not working. Ah, considering the distance type. Ah, okay. So I already did it correctly. I already did it correctly. Oh yes, I did it. I actually did it correctly. Because I did it for each distance. Aha. Aha, okay, so I did it already for each distance. Okay, so why is not working then? I should get my second perception when I go out of that, no? Absolutely. I get the side perception next time based on the p-type, right? And then I say, and I get a timeout, right? And then I set it again. So when we set it, how much is the time? Set side perception next time. Default value is 1 minute. Holy shit. Is 1 minute. Wow. Holy shit, 1 minute. No, 1 minute, bro. 1 minute. 1 minute is 60 seconds. It's 60 seconds. There is the good, I mean, the idea is good, but the 1 minute, it's kind of crazy. Because the problem is that the guy sees you, right? The guy sees you, and as soon as he sees you, is reacting to it. But now we said no, is reacting to something, and then because if I change it, we break the mercenary again. Because I did this change because the mercenaries were not. You see, the mercenary were not working properly. Because they were doing over and over the same behavior. Because I think that on site they start to prepare their spells or something, right? But I mean, 60 seconds. I mean, I think is. Hello, Video Nomad. Hi. Hello, Hula. Fuck. Because I remember what was happening. They were trying to prepare the spells over and over and over and over and over. I mean, we can go back to the stream of the 16th of January and see what I was doing, but I think if I change it, '16th of January. Can I search it like this? No, would have been too smart, huh? Crap. 1 day ago. Wait, I have to do it another way. I don't know why it's not showing you dates. It's showing. Is there a way to? But I can do it in the studio. So I can go by. I don't know if I can go by date. Yeah, but I will have to go very. I mean, it's 1 year ago. GG. 1 year ago. 1 year ago, it would take me forever to go back. Well, no, if I do 50 a page, 50 streams per page, I think is reasonable. I'm July 23. April, March, February. Okay, we are basically there. So January, hopefully I streamed it. Yeah, I think it's this one, NPC AI. So it's 892. Stream number 892. So is this stream? Yes, and here I was debugging. Well, I was debugging what was going on with them, right? And I just want to see my reasoning on it, but I think it was. Now I'm loading. Am I loading the same guy? No, let's go 15. Let's go 15. So I would say that. You see that I was looking at player nearby, reaction player nearby, reacting to perception player nearby, right? So, and every time this was happening, they were basically adding 150 to the behavior prepare. So every time they saw you, right, they were like adding again 150 to prepare, and prepare was becoming the main behavior again. And so they were preparing, right? But I think that this is reasonable. I mean, I think that is going to make to give the problem if it's the same, right? Because it's, let me see, let me see, because we have all of that. Because I don't want to break, you know, I don't want to break them. I don't want to break them again. The Lio Gladiators, right? Prepare. You see, this behavior prepare is actually reacting to player nearby and player adjacent, right? So the problem is that if I should I reset? There is not an easy way. There is no easy way, unfortunately. Fuck it. I mean, this is my NPC, right? And this is me, right? And this is me. So we have proximity distance, right? So this is like nearby, right? And this is, for example, right? And this is like adjacent, right? And there is like adjacent, right? So yeah, I know it's an ellipse, but who cares? So the problem is that when my player, right, whenever I move inside of this, the NPC is getting the perception, right? And when I'm getting here, it's getting the perception again, right? But it's getting it for nearby. And before, it was getting it continuously. So if I was inside this area, right, the guy would trigger nearby continuously, right? And this was actually causing the prepare of the gladiators, because they were trying to prepare. So what I did, I said, no, if you are inside of this box, you will trigger it again after 60 seconds, right? But now the problem is, and it is working fine, okay? So, and it is working fine. The problem is that if I switch, like I'm trying in the dungeon, right? I'm switching between short range and medium range, right? So this will trigger once, and this will trigger once, but both will have a timer of 60 seconds. And so the next time I go close, this one will not trigger anymore, right? So that's basically the problem. This one will not trigger anymore, because will trigger only after 60 seconds, right? But this is definitely a problem. This is definitely a problem. This is definitely a problem. So, or when I switch, right? When I switch between medium range and short range, I invalidate the timer for all the other ranges, and that will actually make it work for the dungeon monster. But if you continue to hop, right? If you continue to hop back and forth. Hello, Zomagay. Thank you for the subscription on YouTube. Hello, hello. If you continue to hop, you know, in and out of the zone like we were doing here, right? So if we hop in the first zone is 4 meters, so this guy is attacking me. Now I go outside and he's attacking me with the range, right? Which is fine. But then if I go back close, he still target me with the range, because the second time the nearby doesn't trigger, right? The nearby doesn't trigger anymore, so it will stay in range for 1 minute before switching, which is super annoying. So it basically only works one time this way. Oh, I cannot escape. It will shoot me through the wall. Yeah, I know. Bro, everyone is shooting at me. Stop it. Leave me be. It's not my fault. The guy doesn't see me. So how do we solve this problem, boys? It's a logical problem. It's not a coding problem. It's an algorithm. It's an algorithm problem. It's not a logical problem. I mean, it's not a coding problem. It's an algorithm logical problem. I mean, you may say no. It should trigger every time you switch, right? Which I kind of agree, right? So I kind of agree to say no. If you are short range, you should know that you are short range, and if you are long range or medium range, you should know, right? And this should basically trigger all the time. But if you are inside the same area, it will not trigger again. Which I think is kind of fine, because the guy will try to fight you inside that area with one single behavior. And if you are here, the same. It will continue to shoot you, right? If you are at this distance. But if you switch in or out, you may say the timer should be invalidated. Right? And we can do that. So we can say when a new perception comes in, you set the timer for the current perception, but you reset the timer for all the other perceptions. And I'm kind of fine with that logic, but then I think that our gladiator will break again. Will break if you go in and out, in and out, in and out. Because at the moment, there is no concept of I prepared already, right? Like this behavior prepare is like happening. And I'm thinking if we have a way to... Because this behavior prepare is triggering every time they see you. I think this is probably the mistake, right? The mistake, I think, is how these guys are scripted. Because every time they see you, they prepare. Right? And every time they see you at this distance, they buff, right? Even if they already have the buff. Even if they already buffed. Even if they already buffed. So because the point is, how can you make the NPC do stuff but not repeat it continuously if the trigger is the player nearby or player adjacent perception, right? This is not an easy problem to solve. I mean, we will solve it, I'm sure, but it's not an easy problem to solve. Because or we change the way these guys are scripted, or we say that because logically I will like to, so whenever you do set side perception next time, right? Whenever you do this, I would like to say add this and invalidate all the others, right? And to do it is very simple, because we just say player detect timer, player detect timer, player detect timer. What is player detect timer? Is a T map of int, yeah, so it's unique by player ID, yeah. Is unique by player ID. So yeah, would be very easy. Would be very easy, because we can say yeah, the issue of this is that basically if you hop, you know, if you hop in and out of the range, you will be continuously triggering this. And so basically you can generate the same problem as today. I mean, as before my patch, right? So let's say that because what is the problem, right? The problem is, okay, let's say that an NPC is saying hello, right? Is saying hello every time you go close, right? So this guy is saying hello to you, right? Saying hello. Every time you go close to him, because it's not just related to combat, right? It's for everything. So we may have a script that says, oh, whenever the character comes closer, right, to you, say a random phrase, right? But obviously you don't want this to happen, right? You don't want the player to go in and out, in and out, in and out, and this guy is continuously saying hello, 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 right? Doesn't make any sense. So here is where the 1 minute delay kind of, I mean, it's kind of good, right? The 1 minute delay is good. Because it's saying, okay, it's saying hello to you one time, then it's waiting 1 minute. If you re-enter, it's waiting 1 minute before saying it again, right? And so I think the 1 minute really makes sense for this kind of cases. And it also makes sense for the gladiator preparation and buffs and for stuff like that, right? So it really makes sense. Yeah, exactly. So I think the 1 minute delay is very good for those things. Now there are other behaviors where you want to trigger immediately. So probably should be okay. So I think that I'm reaching a solution in my mind. So I think so there is the explanation, right? So I think 1 minute is very good, but we want certain behaviors to override this. We want certain behaviors to override this. Yeah, exactly. So this is the way we have to do it. We have to override, we have to say this particular behavior is overriding the 1 minute. So basically here, right, when I do the get, now, do I have it by behavior or do I have it by... Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Because is the reaction that knows... Well, in theory I could read, but you know, because here we do NPC brain trigger event, right? We do NPC brain trigger event. So inside trigger event, I mean, I can move the logic inside of this, but I mean, I have my perception type. Yeah, but I don't know the react. I don't know the reaction. I have the perception, but I don't have the reaction. Fuck it. because the reaction, I mean, this thing is just going through, right? Calculating distance. And then is firing the perception, right? Is firing the perception. And it's only when I'm firing the perception that I know here if I have a reaction that is actually matching that perception. Oh, fuck. So it's way deeper into the code, right? It's way deeper into the code. Or we override. So it's very hard to do the override. Because the NPC... Because the NPC has a brain, right? There is obviously a brain. The NPC has a brain. And inside the brain, inside the brain he has the NPC type, right? Which is basically the brain, but anyway, it's the NPC type. Inside the NPC type is getting the perceptions for range, right? So it's the range perception. And then the range perception is checking all his reactions, right? And then the reaction is triggering the behaviors. Okay, so this is basically how it works, right? Is triggering the behavior. So that is the sequence. So now, unfortunately, the check for moving in and out of the range is here. While if I want to say in my on-site range, right? If I want to say in my on-site range that this react should override any delays, right? Unfortunately, that reaction is only here. So or I propagate, right? Or I pass through that logic, or I set it on the NPC. But setting on the NPC, I think, is super risky. Because I could set it on the brain, I could set the override here, right? And say, well, this NPC does not consider the timeout for player perceptions. But I think that's super risky. I'm thinking how to do it, boys. I'm thinking how to do it, but I think the idea of having the reaction actually do the override and say no, I don't want any timeout was a kind of a good idea. But it's too deep into the brain of the NPC, and I mean, is it really too deep? I mean, it's two calls, right? So basically I will have to, or I put it in the percept, but I cannot put it in the perception. Because in theory I should do it here inside reaction react, right? Inside reaction react, we check if we should react, right? And in theory I can put it inside of this. I think it's not a bad idea to put it inside of this. But do you think that because this perception, right? This perception is valid for all the perceptions. But I could override, right? I can override should react, right? I can override should react in my faction perception. Which, by the way, is already overridden. Yeah, we have to place it here. I think we have to place it here. I think we have to place it here. Because this is only the visibility. It is only the visibility. So if I put it here, so basically if I move that check from here to here, I think we may then decide, I mean, we may then say this particular reaction should override the timeout. You have to be super careful on that, because basically that means that you will instantly trigger the NPC reaction. But I think is pretty much what I want in this case, right? So going back, back here. NPC brain trigger event, right? But then NPC react to player approach. What hell is this? Isn't this the same? Uh-oh. 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 What is done already? Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I didn't see this? I didn't see this and I did it again? Are you serious? Ah, the same drawing. Unbelievable. It's the same drawing. It's the same drawing. Bro, is inside of this. The trigger event was outside though. The trigger event was outside. Now, because maybe there are two different things, right? So that because now the trigger event is also inside of this check. React to player approach. Time now. Yeah, because you see that he's doing a kind of a randomization. So here he's doing a kind of a randomization between Ray. Sorry, but how I didn't see this? How didn't see. Ah, wait a second though. Wait a second. No, it is another thing, huh? This is another thing. Okay. This is only for response triggers. Has nothing to do with behaviors. Okay. It's important that I specify this, huh? It's important that I specify this because otherwise I'm getting confused again. So this basically works only for the hello, right? So they are separate. One thing is triggering the perception that you are close to him and you trigger a behavior part of the brain. And another thing is that you are close and you trigger a response just on proximity based on the dictionary that he has in his brain. These are two very different things. So this one basically triggers the dictionary. Well, the knowledge area, I think we can call it the knowledge area, proximity triggers, the knowledge area text proximity triggers, you know, like very short range, long range, you know, like this shit. Yeah, exactly. So no, it's not a duplication. So yeah. So okay, so in my example, so that's good. So we didn't do something double. So in my example, right, the hello is a bad example because the hello is going into a separate part of the brain of the NPC, which is actually his dictionary and his language, right? Right? Yes. And when can an NPC respond to a very short range proximity trigger again? Exactly. So this has nothing to do with behaviors. Exactly. Let's say, you know, the NPC will answer with the knowledge area text proximity triggers. Will answer to the knowledge area text proximity trigger. Yeah, exactly. So the NPC will answer to that. So this has nothing to do. Okay, now that we know that, which is very nice. Yeah, every time you delve into this code, guys, there is a lot to remember because the code is actually very, very broad and very complex. So it takes time to deep dive. I mean, to enter again into the right zone, you know, and know what you're doing. It takes time. So yeah, if I could work on this, you know, full time, I probably would waste less time, but I cannot. So working on this in the spare time, mainly touching so many different topics, you know, basically the whole code base is yeah, may generate this kind of reworks, right? That like you are just thinking again to all the chain of calls and code and such. So that is actually not correct. This is not send the perception. That is not correct. This is check knowledge area text triggers, right? Like short range. Right, so this is what it's doing. It's not... This is actually sending the perception. This is sending the perception. This is sending the perception to the brain. The other one is just checking the knowledge area trigger. So you can actually get both, right? Because you can do something and you can answer something, right? Not all, not. I mean, I don't think we have any NPC that have both at the same time for the same range. But anyway, it could be possible. So, okay. So now, basically, what we are saying is that if I go back to the previous video, right? So exactly. So here we will not have, right? We will not have that. I mean, I can also avoid going through, but yeah, I have to move. I have to move this. And this line. I have to move this and this line, right? So this block. So this will not exist anymore. So this will actually trigger nonetheless. I mean, it will trigger anyway, right? Will trigger anyway. But then inside our, yes, here. When we are inside, the faction perception should react, right? When we are triggering I don't know why sometimes I do this and I just don't use the spawn manager current world, right? Why I should get the world from any other place than spawn manager? I mean, we have a spawn manager. I built it for this reason. Why I'm going through that, right? And spawn manager is alive when the NPC are alive, so before the NPC are alive. So that is always valid. Okay, anyway, so now the NPC brain is this guy. The problem is the perception type. The problem is the perception type. The problem is the perception type. No, we don't have it. Fuck. Are you serious? I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add it to the faction perception. I mean, we don't have in the faction perception. We don't have the range. That sounds very weird. That sounds very, very weird. Why we don't have it? Because we don't care. But if we don't have it, if we don't have it, I cannot do my reasoning. If we don't have it, I cannot do my reasoning on the distance, right? I mean, I can pass it in. I can add P-type into faction perception. I can add it. I'm just reasoning if he actually makes sense, but I think it does because so here we are checking the distance, right? I think actually faction perception is checking the distance again, or not? Is he checking the distance? Is faction perception checking the distance? Why the left is not aligning? So annoying. Should react, execute perception, add to 8 list. No, he's not getting it. Yeah, we can pass it in, I think. I think we can pass it in. It's not a big deal. I mean, we have two ways. Or we recalculate it, right? Or we recalculate it here, and so we do this. We do the same. We copy the same code inside should react, and we say. But I think it would be much nicer if it's part of the faction perception. So I fire a perception for a certain distance, and even if in the meantime the player moves outside of that, I'm still triggering at what I percepted, right? So it's like if a plane or is super fast and it goes through the sky, but you still react when you see it, right? Even if after is separate. So hello James Moore, hey, thank you for the subscription on YouTube. Hello. Welcome. What brings you here, James? So, okay, so yeah, I think I want to do this. So basically I want to change the faction perception to be... I think it should be optional, right? Because in reality, there can also be a faction perception that is without the proximity. Like it says here, like a talk, right? But in reality, if you just trigger a talk, it should have it. So we can extend yeah, we can extend this, right? And we will extend it with no, but the perception type is already on the perception, no? Perception type is already... Wait, I don't want to do something that already exists, because I think the perception already has type. No? He has a type in terms of a string. Which is kind of weird. Set type. It's just a string? Why is just a string? Not the best idea. It's probably there is a reason, but... Because you see, these are all our perceptions, right? So why not set it with a real type? That's kind of strange, actually. But I don't want to change that because that's too deep to change now. But I think there is no reason why we are storing a string instead of storing the actual type, right? Which would be, by the way, faster for everything in searching. Maybe I want to do it, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit of a change, but I don't understand why. I have no idea why the type should be. Also, when I yeah, because it's constructing it by string, you see. Sounds a bit weird, right? So I will have to add here a new type, which is actually perception type. But it sounds kind of funny because I have it in my perception as a string type. So, but comparing strings is very annoying, right? Performance wise. But in theory, yeah. I mean, I can just go here and say. I think it's a bit stupid that we have. Because my perception, which is this one, as a type, which is actually equal to. I mean, it's true that the perception is generated on the fly, right? It's generated on the fly. And probably, you know, when we are comparing the perception type, we do it. No, I think I understand why we did it. Because actually we compare by string because the scripts that we load, right? But why when we load the script we don't just switch to the actual type? I mean, doing the change is too risky though. There are too many places in the code that are relying on this. Can I know where this is actually used? I mean, I want to know where perception type is used. Do you think it's gonna tell me before the refactoring or no? Oh fuck, no, it's not gonna tell me. Just gonna do it. It's just going to do it. No, it's not telling me. He's not telling me. Inspect this. Code issues. No, I would like to know where this is used, but in the context of perception, obviously. So it's kind of a refactoring, but it's like a test refactoring, right? It's not a real refactoring. Quick definition, folding, find usages advanced, find usages, no? Yeah, find usages. I think that's that. Find usages. Okay, so this is the real. This is the real thing. So it's only inside perceptions. New location perception. It's not too many actually. Nah, but it's impossible. There is that. It is so little. No, that is it's impossible. Because all the perceptions are going through. I don't know why it's only finding the location perception, the position perception, the spell perception, the inventory perception, right? Which is okay, these are all valid usages, but there are way more. I mean, all our perceptions are right? I mean, I don't know. For example, pet food perception, right? Which is one of the guys that he didn't find, right here. He's creating it with this string, and this string is actually the type, and the type is going here and is creating it, right? So why? So when I do a food pet, for example, right? When I do a food the perception for the pet, right? When I create it here. So could I use the instead of using the name, could I use the nah, it's too much of a change. I cannot do it. I cannot do it, it's too risky. I mean, it would be a good idea to switch this with the actual enumeration, but it's too risky. There are too many places. I will have to retest like the whole game, so it's too risky. So let's do it in another way, which is a bit redundant, but anyway, it's safer. So only inside our faction perception, right? All inside our faction perception, we will add a new field, which is actually perception type, and it will be, and we can call it faction type. We can call it range type. I don't know. Yeah, range type. Range type, right? And this one will be this one's long range, short range, very short range, any range, right? Assuming that any range, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And by default, it will be. Fuck, we don't have a none. By default. Anyway. And this will be initialized, when faction perception is initialized. So it will be here. And will be perception type in type, right? And this will do. And this will do range type in type, whatever, right? So now this thing will complain, obviously. Make copy. Yeah, we also need to be sure that this is passing range type now, right? So all the places where we initialize that, and then here we will use range type, right, as our p type. So at least we fix this problem. We will have to change these two functions. No, we don't have to change these two functions. Why is complaining? Player doesn't exist. Player. Player, yeah. But he's player, eh? No, he's not player. He's not player, right? He's my actor. Wait a second. Because here he was player, but... Oh, by the way, now this is P-type. So here he was player, got player in range of blah blah blah. He was playing? Yeah, because he's by player, eh? He's by player. He's by player. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we have a problem. Hello, Shaifu. Or Shaif. Shaif. We have a kind of a problem here, guys, because... Retrieve the time in second calculated, we get word time second when the NPC side perception can be triggered again for that particular player considering the distance type. For that particular player. So if I have two players, what is gonna happen? If I have two players, right? So one player is in short range and the creature is reacting to short range and attacking melee with hand-to-hand combat, right? Then this guy comes in. This guy comes in and the creature will actually start to attack the other guy. If we do it the way I did it, the way I'm doing it, there will be an immediate need, right? Will be an instant need. This will be an instant need to do what? To fight melee. Or to fight ranged. I think he will probably attack ranged the closest player. Which may be fine though. I mean, it's a bit weird, but it's fine. I don't want to make this as, you know, too complex. So I think it may be fine. But yeah, definitely we need to consider we have multiplayer. Eh? So there may be multiple people triggering, right, in and out the NPC behavior. And the only good news for us is they cannot really stall it, they cannot really lock the NPC, because anyway, when he decides to do something, it does it fully, right? At least I think so. So, well, I mean, we have interruptions in behaviors actually, so we can interrupt the behavior, but Okay. I think there is the possibility that this can be abused. Like you are moving in and out of the given range, and the NPC is going to go crazy. Well, let's say well, not really go crazy, but okay. Okay, but let's continue with our idea, because I think it's a good idea. I still think it's a good idea, even multiplayer, right? Even multiplayer. So this is actually, yes, the player. So we need to do a get, and we need to do a get, and yeah, and then we just need to recompile and see which of the faction perception constructors are now missing the p-type. Yeah. My character, my face looks very weird sometimes. Yeah. My face looks weird sometimes, but it's okay. Okay, so here what we will do, we will wait a certain time of mind, blah 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 blah, right? So if the timeout is less than now, then we are setting that and we are returning true. Otherwise, we will return false, right? And we will not execute and we will not react. So we react only if the timeout is less than the current time. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm waiting the compilation to finish and tell me what is broken, if anything is broken. Blong. Okay. So here we are in Handle Perception Talk. And Handle Perception Talk assumes that you are at short range, because otherwise you cannot call it, right? So I think that we do perception type, short range, or very short range. So we assume that the talk is an adjacent player, which I think it makes sense because you cannot actually speak to NPC from distance. And anyway, in this particular perception, this will not be used, I guess. This will not be used. Aha, interesting. So if you talk to an NPC that is moving, and that NPC is stopping because you start to speak with him, this will go through our 60 seconds. This will go through our 60-second thing. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we should use talk. I think we should use talk, but if we use talk, then what happens? What happens when we actually do should react? Because should react will check. We'll do this, right? And this will actually... Oh, fuck. So we need to... Yeah, because if I don't do this, we are gonna break the talk interruption. While like this, I'm not gonna break it. So talk doesn't do this kind of check. Okay, in theory it's done. Now, if it will work, I have no idea, but in theory it's done. So basically now... So what did I do? What did I do? So... So what I did is that we moved, right? We moved the check from the NPC type, right, down to the reaction. So when we receive that, we do it on the reaction, right? And boys, I lost the train of thought. I lost the train of thought and I don't know why I moved it down to reaction. Why I moved it down to reaction? Because I wanted to pass another parameter or something and do the check. Ah, yeah. Okay. I have it. So the idea was that if I have the reaction level, right? So no, it's not working yet. So here we just moved it at the reaction level, which is nice. So now I want to say that certain reactions are actually overriding the timeout check, right? Are overriding the timeout check. So inside the reaction, I think I can have a timeout. Why there is no? Maybe there is already a timeout. Isn't there already a timeout? Event, behavior, delta, absolute range, weight, factor, operation, condition. Condition. Set the condition as to return 0. Value used by some perception like time. Random, add some random value to the value array. Type. Active only, inactive only, when dead, when invisible, when invincible, only interrupts only. No, it seems there is not a timeout. A timeout value. So we're gonna add it. We're gonna add a new line here, which will be timeout. Will be an int in seconds. I mean, do we want to say override yes, no? Or do we want to say how much is the timeout? Because I can say like timeout 0, right? And this will because this logic would be nice if this logic worked for everything, right? So that every reaction would have like a grace time, right? And inside that grace time, the reaction is not triggering again. I think that would be very nice. How do we call it? Do we call it grace time or we call it timeout? I think timeout is good. Huh? We can even make it a float in seconds. So if the timeout is 0, it triggers anyway. The problem then it means that for every perception now, I need to go through the code. I mean, through all the scripts, right? I have to go through all the scripts, and every time I have React event player nearby, I need to put a value. Oh my god. I mean, I should do it the opposite so that it's overriding the timeout. Yeah, for now I will do it as an override timeout because yeah, I think I will do that. I will have a no timeout because otherwise it's too. I have to do too many changes to the scripts, and I don't want to. I just want to change this script, right? So by default is false. So basically there is a timeout. Remove the timeout for 2 times by adjacent reactions. Right? And by default is false, so no, by default yeah, by default is false, so the timeout actually happens, right? Yeah, the timeout happens. So by default is false. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-bum. So here we will say no timeout equal to true, right? We will say no timeout true and no timeout true here as well, right? Exactly. So now we need to load the shit though, because we don't do it, huh? We don't do it, boys. So we need to extend the reaction loader. Right? The reaction loader now has an additional value, which is a boolean, right? Which is called no timeout. No timeout, and we can put the same description actually that we have here. Removes the timeout, right? And by default is false. And now we need to load this guy And we need to be sure also that the deep copy and all the other shit is actually working. Hello, who joined? Who joined? Hello, Chris. Hey. Thank you for the subscription on YouTube and welcome. What brings you here? Hello. So yeah, so we need this to work, and we need the load, right? And we need the load to load that. And yeah, so like this we load it, right? We load it, and so it will be considered. Now it will be loaded in the reaction, it will be deep copied, which is good. I'm just thinking we should do, so we only need load reaction set value. I think that everything else is fine. We should use this one, should react, right? So now in should react, no, not yet. Now in our perception, in our what? Fuck, lost myself again. Now in our back. Exactly. Here we have the reaction, we have the reaction, so we can check if this reaction, right? We can check if this reaction that is probably inaccessible, Fuck. Should I just make it public or just do a get? Let's do a get. Let's do a get, no timeout. Let's do a get, no timeout. Bool get, no timeout. Return, no timeout. Okay. So if no timeout is false, right, which is the default, by the way, if no timeout is false, which is the default, we do this shit, right? We do this. Default is false, timeout applied, right? So default is false, we time, yeah, if it's true, we skip this. And if we skip this, we have to return true though, Otherwise this will never work. Right? So we will react regardless of the, okay, nice. Okay, let's see if it works. I think we are there. we are there now. I think that this change may impact few other things, so we have to be careful. Yeah, but for me to retest everything is a mess, so I think you guys will test it at the next release, because if I have to go and retest now all the mercenaries, all the gladiators, all the fights, all the perception, all the short range, long range, or anyway, all the combinations of those, I mean, it will take me forever. It will take me forever. It will take me like 8 hours. Well, maybe not 8 hours, but anyway, maybe 3 or 4 hours, yes, to test all the other cases, right? So we're gonna just test this one, and we hope that it doesn't break. Because what happens if the range type is can the range type be null? Can the range type be null? No, because enumeration. So it will be 0, so it will be the first value actually. So if we enter with a value that is not valid, then what do we do here? We do switch, da 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 da. There is no default case. By the way, all these breaks are useless, because if you return, you don't have to break, obviously. So we don't have a default case. So if I think if it's not any of those, we can return 0. So meaning that it will always be, oh no, we return this one. We return find ref. The default is this. No, I don't agree. I don't agree actually. I think if p-type I think if we don't find this, we just return 0. Because I was actually returning the very short range, but I don't think it makes any sense. And so the same here though, because when we set the perception type, so if the perception type is not one of these values, then I think we do nothing. Right? We just do nothing. Yeah. Because it means that it's not one of those that we meant. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Now it would be nice to test at least one gladiator maybe after this change in trying to go between short range and long range, short range and long range, but yeah, but a gladiator will work because it will be every 60 seconds. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I think it should be fine. The gladiator should be fine. Let's see if our guy is shooting continuously or not. I mean, we want him to switch between melee and ranged without any delay, right? Because and also I have to change this thing. I have to change this thing, the delta thingy, right? Because the delta is not really explained well here. It's not really explained well here. Well, actually it is explained, it's just that it's not, I don't know, I didn't read it. Guaranteed. The reaction can influence behavior as guaranteed to be executed. The reaction can influence. Let's say this. The reaction influences the behavior's need. The behaviors need guaranteed to execute guaranteed to be executed if no delta or absolute variable set, delta if the delta attribute is set, or absolute if the attribute absolute is set. And I would type here delta equal to 0, because delta equal to 0 is doing something else, right? It's not a guaranteed desire. How did we type guaranteed? No, we typed it correctly. We typed it correctly. Yeah, exactly, because it's going to desire none, right? So if delta is 0, right? If delta is 0, now let me put it here. Careful. Delta equal to 0 means desire none. Exactly. Because this is what messed with me right before. Let's go for a drum roll. Drum roll. We generated a new dungeon. Easy dungeon generation. One click, a full dungeon. That's good, huh? This thing is not making any damage to me. Drum roll again. Drum roll again. It's not doing shit. Because I'm visible. Okay, it's attacking me ranged, which is good. I go close. It should attack me melee. It does. Now I go back ranged. He attacks me range immediately. That's very good. I go in and he attacks me. Okay, maybe the first one range is okay because he has the previous in memory. And he kills me melee. Nice. So it actually worked. It actually worked, boys. We can try again. Let's try again. Who was that guy? Yeah, but I think it's working. 50,002? I don't know. 50,001? No. You see, he's immediately attacking me. Yeah, it's working, it's working. He's immediately attacking me. At the moment, there's no way to escape. You cannot escape anymore. If you are in a small room like this, Now, the only problem is the following, that if I am behind the wall, it will still attack me. If I am at, you see the missile coming through? Now we can solve that. We can solve that, but the problem of solving it with visibility... Fuck, this guy will kill me. I have to kill him. Stop hitting me, you bitch! Die! Okay. He died. So we can solve the problem of the wall by actually drawing a line between him and me. But there are a number of problems with that. Because actually we can, right? We can say if there is a line of sight, you know, do it. If not, don't do it. So it will look, but so if the monster is here, right? This is our nice little monster. Nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. With a big eye. So we could say, you know, we can block visibility and he will not shoot, right? The problem of that is that, for example, if you put a cube, if you put a box, right? If you put a box in front of him, like this, he will not shoot you. And this is extremely exploitable, right? This is why I don't want to do it. So I probably prefer that the guy is actually hitting you through the wall. Yeah, the problem is that if he's hitting you through the wall, then it means that even if this door is closed, right? Ow. Even if this door is closed and he didn't see me yet, he will still try to hit me through the wall, right? Which is a bit weird. I mean, we have a range of 10 meters, so actually here is not gonna happen, but here is gonna happen because I'm at 10 meters from him. You see? He killed me again. Fuck, he killed me again. Yeah, so this shooting through the wall, I have to think about it. But the problem is that it's very, very exploitable. I mean, I can check if it's a wall. I have to think about it. But anyway, it worked. So monsters are now way more annoying in the dungeon. So you actually need to kill them. Otherwise, will be a problem. Because they will kill you very easily. They will kill you very, very easily. Which is good because what we wanted to have, right? We wanted to have a dungeon which is actually dangerous, right? And the fact that the NPC cannot move for limitations of the engine at the moment makes now the ranged attack very good. Yeah. Look at my shadow. Holy shadow. Holy shadow. Okay. Yeah, guys, it is working. Yay! It is working. So, what is next? What is next? What is next? what is next? I think we did. I mean, I didn't put all the stuff that we did here, but we can type it in, right? We can type. I mean, we did the scale by difficulty. We scaled the NPC and the weapons, yes, and then we added a ranged, right? We added ranged attack, ranged attacks. Right, and the range attacks actually work pretty good. I mean, they are even too much. I mean, we can scale them down, but I think they are even a bit too much. But anyway, we added ranged attacks to the NPC. And you know what can be the annoying thing? The annoying thing is if you are in the range of the NPC and you are behind the door and you are trying to unlock it, and actually the NPC is shooting at you like a boss. Right? And you are trying to unlock the door and remove the traps, and the NPC is hitting you from behind the door, which is kind of cheating. And yeah, but anyway, I mean, yeah, that is a problem. But fine. So we added ranged attacks, and also we made the NPC switch between. So NPC properly switches between melee and ranged, right? Based on your yeah, so it's basically super aggro, right? Is always angry. That NPC is like a turret. It's like having an automatic turret shooting at you. Then maybe a loss start. Why? Line of sight. The problem is that the line of sight can be exploited, right? I mean, you put a box in front of him, and then you destroy him with spells, right? So basically, you go around the dungeon, put a box in front of the monster, kill him, put a box in front of the monster, kill him, put a box in front of the monster, right? I don't want that to happen. I prefer to have missiles through walls than people being able to do that, right? So I mean, the good way to do it would be to do a line of sight with actual walls only, right? So that the wall has a specific channel, right? A specific channel for tracing, and which we may use also for other stuff, right? We can use it for sounds. We can use it. So like, for example, if you are in this room, right? If you are in this room, and there is no door here, but they are just two rooms, one next to each other, right? And there is something making sound here. From here, you will hear it with no problem. Because the distance, there is no attenuation based on geometry at the moment, right? Yeah, but sound is another problem though, because sound will not work with the line of sight. So yeah, so well, it's the same when you search for a trap, right? If you search for a trap, if you are in this situation and the trap is here and you search for a trap, you will actually find the trap on the other side of the wall, even if you don't see it, because this wall is not blocking the visibility. Yeah, so in that case, stopping the line of sight by wall would be good. I can do it. I can add a specific trace channel which is called line of sight, and which would be the right way to do it. And I will have to flag everything in my game, every single asset in the game, so we have thousands, right? As, is this a wall or is not a wall? So once you are in line of sight, then only then it starts attacking. Yeah, but it's the same thing, because then you exit from the room, you enter again, you know. So then you put the box, you go out, you know, he stops attacking, you go in again, and he never attacks again. So it's exploitable exactly in the same way, just with one step more, which is going in and out of the room after you put the box. So no, it's not gonna work. The line of sight, the real, I mean, the line of sight of any object is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The line of sight needs to be done, because you know you can have a window that is transparent, right? You can have a transparent window with glass, and you want to see through, right? Well, depend. Well, you want to see through, maybe you don't want to shoot through. Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to spend time on line of sight. I think we have better stuff, better things to do. But yeah, it's a good problem, right? It's a good problem. Is an interesting one. It may apply to many different things. And maybe one day we will do it, but not today. So I think the most important aspect that is missing at the moment is this one. Is define how to enter and exit from the dungeon. Because at the moment we cannot. We are just teleported. Now for GM events, the game master could just teleport the people at the entrance, but I think it would be nice to define a standard way to enter and exit, and we will do this tomorrow. Now that the range works, we will do this tomorrow. Tomorrow we work on this. I want to be able to enter and exit from the dungeon in an automatic way. So I don't know if we set up a portal, like a magical portal, but probably yes. I think at the moment the easiest in the world will be to have a magic portal. Will be to have a magic portal, and maybe with a pedestal of some kind. I don't know. You know, with a border or whatever. To have a magic portal, there is an object that we can place in the game, so that the game master can actually drop this object in the game whenever he wants, and he can pick it up, right? And that portal always brings to the dungeon. So the other thing we need to do, which is kind of annoying, is what happens if you disconnect and then you reconnect the next day and the dungeon has been regenerated. Yeah, that we need to decide how to do it. Because I have to think a bit about. At the moment, we may avoid that, but I think it may become a problem very quickly. So, how to respawn the player if the dungeon has been regenerated? How to respawn an offline player? I mean, a player that went offline, right? I mean, let me say, if a player goes offline and the dungeon has been regenerated, where he will reconnect? What happens when he reconnects? What happens when he reconnects, right? I think we can detect the fact that it's in the dungeon area and maybe just respawn him at the beginning of the dungeon, which may be one way. I have to think about it. I don't know. This one is not an easy one because considering everything is dynamic, but also considering that we can. I have to think about it. I don't know. We will do it tomorrow. How many dungeons you can summon at the same time? One. But it's by design at the moment because I don't want to make a mess. But at the moment it's only one. In theory, there is nothing preventing me to spawn as many as we want. But at the moment I'm thinking to a weekly dungeon, right? So that I spawn a dungeon, I let it there for 1 week. Then I delete it and I spawn another. So like every week, and the server could even do this by himself in theory, but I mean, you will have to ensure there are no players inside when you regenerate it, but you know, we can maybe remove the portal and ensure there are no players and then regenerate it. So at the moment it would be one. But in the future, I think there can be 2 or 3. I don't think I want to have, you know, all the game being randomly generated because I don't think that random generation is a great way to play, right? I think it's not. I think a game that is all procedurally generated is a boring game, right? I mean, unless the algorithm is so smart, so nice, but you know, you want a story, you want something, right? You want a bit more than just randomness, right? So I think I'm good with one at the moment, but maybe we will do 2 or 3, right? By team, like there will be one all lava, one all ice, one all electricity, one all, you know. And maybe it will be in 4 different places of the world and there will be a final item for each of those dungeons. And if you get all 4, I don't know, you put them together, you create the ultimate key for the ultimate dungeon. I don't know. It can be something like that, right? So it can be like a quest, inside, like a mini quest, like a sub quest. I have to think of the loot. I think that the loot is another important point. I don't know if I have it in, yeah, scale loot quality. Well, it's not just scale loot quality, but also the side loot, right? So why people should do this dungeon, apart from testing it the first time, but why should they want to do it multiple times, right? So there should be some interesting loot, which is actually complementary to the other stuff that we do in the game. I will think about it. If you have any idea, please let me know. Meanwhile, I think I will say bye-bye. I'm gonna go to bed and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Look at my shadow, bro. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow, guys. If you want to click follow on Twitch, that's very appreciated. Also, if you want to click on subscribe on YouTube, that's very appreciated and it's free. And remember that we have a Patreon site, which is patreon.com/planeshift. And we also have some other channels, like we have a Twitter, Reddit, a subreddit. And yeah, if you want, you can go there and follow us everywhere. We have a Discord and yeah, spread the knowledge, spread the news that people can play this game. You can click on download and play it right now if you want, for Linux, Windows, and Mac. GG! Bye bye! Bye bye!